Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 455 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined today by the chilly Ben Askren, chilly and funky. He's got the toboggan on. Ben, are you cold? Is it especially cold?
No. Punxsutawney Phil saw a shadow, so we're gonna have spring coming up pretty soon. Is what I've heard.
Shout out Caleb Young.
You heard?
I did not. I actually had not heard anything about Groundhog's Day.
I heard that too, Ben, but Austin did not get the memo because it was 80 degrees here yesterday, and it was 30 this morning.
30. Can you believe that?
Brutal. We had a couple warm days. Now it's more like medium warm.
Medium warm.
Cold.
What's medium warm in Wisconsin?
Medium warm's like 32 degrees, like right at freezing.
Okay.
Like, for February, if it was like, 5 degrees, that would be terrible. If it was like 40, that'd be fantastic. So, we're here at like 32 degrees or something. Not so bad.
That's nothing. All right, great. Who said climate change was a bad thing? It's wonderful. Okay. Plenty to get into because we basically were only able to talk about one duel last time. There's been a lot of changes.
And some terrible bracketing. Has USA Wrestling contacted you guys yet?
They have not contacted me. I think you should. I'm dead serious. You should send it to them. Send them the bracket. I'm not going to send them the FRL show. Be like, hey, Gary, food for thought here. But, if you emailed someone there, I'm sure that would have more weight than anything I could present.
Who do you think the bracket guy is? You think it's Rich, or who do you think the bracket guy is?
Well, I would imagine Coach Zadek, maybe Cody Bickley, Rich, Rich is probably not super involved with that, but
I bet Bickley's the guy to start with. I'll hit him up. He's
a good dude. I'm sure he'll be happy. Yeah. Happy to hear from you. As happy as he can be, I guess. Okay, so I was looking through the rankings and all the changes that have been going on this year, and how many top 4 teams there have been this year ranked in the top 4. There have been 9.
Well, it's just past number 2. It's a disaster. I mean, the next 9 teams, I guess, all just kind of rotate based on how their guy does that week.
What I should have done is like how many weeks each team spent in the top 4. Obviously, Iowa and Penn State have been there throughout. I think Ohio State has probably been there the second longest.
Yeah. I can try to do that while you guys.
He can do that real quick. Wisconsin's been in there a bunch too.
They made a fair amount of visits to the top 4.
Yes, they've been in there majority of the year. But I'm curious, Ben, what is your current thoughts on the top 4 and how you see the trophy race actually materializing?
I think any of those teams can get it. I mean, it's just there are so many teams that are so close right there. It's going to come down to which guys have a little better performances, and possibly even like who gets the better seeds from the conference championships. I mean, I think there's just so many factors there, and I don't see there's like, oh, this team's way better. I mean, if I had to pick a number 3, it's probably going to be Ohio State simply based on the fact that they have 3 number 1s.
Yeah.
Two of which I'm pretty sure they're going to be in the finals. Obviously, Pletcher and Moore, I'm like, those guys are going to be in the finals. I don't know that you have another team where you're obviously excluding Penn State or Iowa. I don't know that you have another team that you're so sure they're going to have 2 finalists.
Right, and even I would say Iowa's pretty sure 2 finalists. Penn State has 2, but there aren't many teams, even Iowa or Penn State, where you can say, yeah, for sure 3 finalists here, no doubt about it. So that's why I do think that. And I think Wisconsin has – I think the top 4 as it is right now, Iowa, Penn State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, is actually the way I'm leaning because I feel like with Wisconsin, Gross is going to place high. He's my pick to win it. Moran, I think, is actually – whatever he does is him and Cole Martin are kind of like icing on the cake more so than I think like super realistic top 8 guys.
But Tristan's beat everyone besides Luke Pletcher. I mean, he does own a win over anyone in that bracket besides not named Luke Pletcher. So
I know. Yeah, I mean, why do I really like Tristan a lot, like as a guy, and I like watching him wrestle. But why do I just not have? I don't have confidence that he's going to be able to pull it off at NCAA.
He always pulls out this last minute shenanigans. I mean, it feels like every Mitch McKee match comes down to overtime or the last second, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But he has wins over Nick Lee. He's got multiple wins over Mitch McKee. He's got wins over Chad Red. I mean, like I said, he's beat like everybody that's ranked highly besides Luke Fletcher.
Right.
Now, obviously, Evan Wick's going to be probably the basement. I think would be a fifth place for him as low as it gets. And Hilger, I think you're feeling pretty similar that the bottom is a 5. So I think Wisconsin's looking like they're probably going to finish pretty highly there. Arizona State's another team where it's like, okay, you have the for sure Zahid points, but then who else is for sure? Could you see Tanner Hall All-Americaning or Anthony Valencia or Josh Shields? You could see all those guys All-American, but I don't think it's guaranteed at all.
No, I think Tanner would be the second most likely guy to place. I think he's probably top 5 this year. But, man, heavyweight's really tough. We've been talking about it a lot. And Anthony and Shields, I like them, but not as sure about them. I like Nebraska a lot. I like UNI. NC State is interesting.
Nebraska is good. Nebraska's got a really good shot at. They're a team that, again, they could have a whole bunch of 5th through 8s that don't score a lot of points. And so when you're comparing, Ohio State, who you say, okay, 2 in the finals, those guys will probably score on average. Let's say they just make the finals, on average, probably 15 to 18 points by making the finals.
Right.
Each person. A 7th place finish is going to score you about 7 points. So you need 2 to 3 of those to match up for a finalist.
Yes, which is something you've been pretty critical of the NCAA tournament scoring. You don't like it, and I actually agree with that.
Yeah, it's really top heavy. So a team like Nebraska, you could literally see Eric Schultz getting 7th, Taylor Venz getting 7th, Mikey Labriola getting 7th, Isaiah White getting 7th. Like, they could have a whole bunch of guys All-American but not finish that high.
Yes, I agree with that. NC State is interesting because they're a little different from Nebraska, where I think they have 2 super high point scorers with Trent and Hayden. Yes. But yeah. I don't see there's not a lot. They would need someone like Camacho to break out or Tariq Wilson to rekindle the Cleveland flame that is since extinguished, really, right? So I don't see that. Or Nick Reenan to be like what we thought he was going to be coming into this year, but through injury and just maybe a down performance, he has not been that guy. But NC State's interesting with that high upside potential.
Yeah, I see them being better next year than they are this year. I don't think they lose much going into next year. So let's see. If I had to pick my 3 most likely to be top 4 after Iowa, Penn State, it's Wisconsin, Ohio State, Nebraska.
In that order?
I did not think about the order.
Got it. I would say probably because right now Ohio State has a couple guys. Rocky Jordan's coming along. What a change it's been for him. And then Romero and Smith, I think they're both in that. I think they'll both wrestle in the round of 12, and it'll be up to them to whether they win those matches or not. But I think they're going to be right there. Could Gas Tank Gary? Probably not. But what a story that would be. Can you imagine?
Did you guys see how much more interaction the Ohio State account got than anybody else?
Well, yes, I did see that. And
is that all gas tank fueled?
No, they
do a really good job.
They actually do a good job. Not every program has even. Yeah, I don't even want to.
Well, like I know a couple people are like, how are Iowa and Penn State not on here? Well, both those accounts just pretty much do live updates of their duels, and that's it. They're not doing videos. They're not doing graphics during the week. They're not posting clips from the matches.
Can you imagine having rights? Right? Hey, can you imagine having rights to actually post the clips legally and not posting them? What are they even doing with their lives?
I don't. Well, Penn State will post like cell phone videos every now and then, but it's not of like. It's like of them getting their hand raised in like random parts of the match. I don't know. It is a little bizarre.
Yeah. So no, Ohio State they put an emphasis on it. Whoever's in their media department, it's important to them. And the other, Iowa and Penn State, they're a little more focused on wrestling, I guess, which makes sense. Not that the two are mutually exclusive.
You think the SID is focused on wrestling at Penn State or what?
No, not at all.
I'm
trying to think of a way. I'm trying to think of a way to not get yelled at by the respective fan bases. But it's not as important to them to have a strong social media presence, especially Penn State.
Do you think Kale makes the SID get 9.25 hours of sleep?
No, probably not. Okay.
He doesn't need his HGH. He doesn't need his HGH production to be kicked up.
Yeah, I don't think so. Although, it probably would make sense no matter what you do, no matter what your occupation is, having that HGH flowing high is going to be helpful. All right.
So I have So Wisconsin has spent 6 weeks at number 4.
Nice.
But they've also jumped up to number 3 one time.
So 7 total weeks in the top 4.
Yeah. And then Arizona State started the year at number 4, and they were only there the first 2 weeks, and then haven't been back since. NC State has been there twice, but it's been a month since they've been there.
What about Ohio State?
Ohio State spent 3 times. 3 weeks at number 4, most recently 3 weeks ago, but the majority of the season they've been at number 3. There was a brief stretch there because the 3rd week of the season, UNI was actually 4th, and then jumped to 3rd the next week, but then haven't been back since, and that probably has a lot to do with Holschlag.
Yeah.
Who
I think is done.
I talked to Coach Schwab for the Rudis podcast on Monday, and he said something like, at some point you got to consider quality of life. And I thought that meant, okay, this dude's done. Stop asking.
Holy cow. Quality of life? That's not – because it was knees, but I heard maybe some back stuff going on or something else with Holschlag. So he may be done. That's a blow for UNI. They still have a really good team, but anytime you lose an All-American, especially an All-American at 197, which we know the ceiling for potential points there is just a lot higher. So that's unfortunate.
And then the final team that has spent some time there is Minnesota. That was 5 weeks ago. And they actually jumped to number 3 at one point for a week and bumped Ohio State down to 4. But they also haven't been back since.
Got it.
So the past 2 weeks has been Ohio State at 3, Wisconsin at 4, and then the week before that was Wisconsin at 3, Ohio State at 4. So those two, the past month or so, have kind of cemented themselves as 3-4.
What did you say that Nebraska has peaked at?
Nebraska, because they did not appear at 4 actually. They spent 2 weeks at number 3, kind of after the first month of the season, but haven't been back since.
Yes. Okay, we have some APBs. There's some missing persons. And Bracky's concerned. Put out some APBs.
Is Joey Silva one of them?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he should be. That's a good one, Ben. What the heck? We thought he was gearing up for his run. He wrestles 3 matches in a row, and then poof.
He still has one of the highest. I was kind of mad he's not in Nomad's Hodge rankings. He's undefeated.
Okay.
Should be in the mix. He's in the mix.
We did just see this person because Nomad got an interview with him, but Sebastian Rivera.
Yeah, where you at,
dog? You gonna wrestle?
We haven't seen him since Midlands, right?
I brought him up yesterday. You guys said he was going to wrestle this weekend.
Possibly. And we said possibly.
Yeah.
But you still got to put it out there. Maybe this will make him wrestle.
Yeah, if you put the APBs out, that puts a little more pressure on him because the legal system is technically involved.
I legit don't know where this person is. Where's Mikey Carr?
Oh, he's done. I don't know what his problem is.
Is he really?
That's what someone said. I can't remember where we brought him up before, and someone said that in the sidebar.
I feel like we've been trying to get an answer on him all season.
Yeah, we can't get the facts on Mikey Carr out there.
The car facts.
Okay.
Yeah, we're sick of the car facts. All right, that's right. I haven't checked car facts. I'll do that while you keep going.
Andrew Alirez. I don't know if he's wrestled since.
He doesn't show up very often.
Apparently not.
January 12th, almost a month.
Almost a month, and he missed some time before then too.
He missed some ranked showdowns. I know we thought we were gonna have. I know Thompson came out there. He didn't wrestle, and then. The last one I have, you might have more, Ben. Brady Berge. I know he's been in the news a lot, and Kale said he might come back, but
Someone said he was at someone said he was at the Mayo Clinic, which I don't know. I don't even know what that means for sure.
That's in Minnesota, isn't it?
Rochester.
Correct. Yeah, but I mean, Mayo Clinic's obviously somewhere they specialize in really tough cases. So,
jeez,
I don't even know what to make of that.
Okay, well, he sounds like a maybe we'll be back, maybe won't be back, and
yeah. I mean, that's what Kale said. What the lineup's going to continue to change or shift, or I don't remember what exact word he used, but
he said that. But then he also said yesterday, or I don't know when the media was, but an article came out, and he's basically, I don't want to say he walked that back. He's like, we're going to stick with this lineup, and like Shakur's going to be the guy as long as he's healthy, kind of thing. And so I don't know. He kind of made it sound like they were kind of sticking with what they had, with the exception of Brady, right? So I don't know if they're going to use Beard or not.
So our other injury report, which I didn't get the chance to read through the full article. I don't know if you guys did, but Tom Brand said something like, "Well, we don't have to amputate it," about DeSanto's leg. Did you guys see that or not?
I did see that. I was not helpful yet. As I just tried to think more deeply about like what that could mean. I don't think he would make. Obviously, it's a joke when he says they're not going to have to amputate.
Yeah.
So I feel like if it was a serious injury, there's no way he would like make a joke about it, right? So I feel
that same way. Yeah.
It's probably a little something. He'll miss a few duels and he'll be back, maybe with a brace or something. But that's just my read of the psychological thought process of someone that would make a joke like that. So
yeah, I mean, or what if he's trying to reverse psychologize us and it is really hurt and he wants us to think that?
Then it's working really well on me personally.
I thought the exact same thing you did about it.
Yeah, maybe he is. Maybe he's messing with us all. I don't see what the end game would be there. Because it doesn't help your team at all to. That's the thing. The truth doesn't help us, or in my opinion, right? Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand so much of the secrecy. I get it. It's like you don't want to get into the details of a knee injury, but I don't see what is harmed by more candor, personally.
Hey, is Rivera possibly moving down a weight class?
Oh, that would be spicy.
I don't think
no
so.
way, though.
Because, he has to make 125 for the last chance wrestle-off in really near term after the NCAA tournament. Like, why not?
The last 8 falls off a lot easier, though, especially when you're coming from 33 to 25.
Stop.
You can float that off. No, I don't think he's going to. I really think he wants to stay at 133. I think it's better for their team. I think he feels more comfortable there. Seth Gross is going to do the same thing. You know, he's not going down to 125.
Yeah.
And it might be to his benefit to not hold 25 that whole time. He maybe has outgrown 125 as a Division I wrestler, and the idea of holding that for weeks after weeks would be maybe to his detriment.
Maybe that's why he's sitting out. He only would have to make it a couple times by this point.
Maybe, but I don't know why he'd do it. I think he's got. I know he's beaten Spencer twice, but I still think he's got a better
Vision Quest.
Yeah, I don't think so. If he was on a Vision Quest, he would never flirted with. Loudon Swain never considered the alternatives. He was going down. So I don't think so. I think he's going 33. I think he has a better shot at winning 33, in my opinion, just because Spencer is on a different level right now. And yeah. So I think and it's better for their team. So I don't see him changing, but we'll find out.
Wait, actually, I you know what? I didn't really think about that last statement that I disagreed with. I don't agree with it, Christian. I in fact disagree with it. You said he's got a better chance of winning 33. And I don't think that to be true because at 25, really, it's DeSanto and Jack Mueller. I'm sorry, DeSanto. It's Spencer Lee and Jack Mueller. At 33, man, it's way deeper, way deeper.
It's not way deeper.
It is.
I don't agree with that. Oh, well, I mean, you could say, all right. On the one hand, yes. I mean, the number 5 for 125 is Paetzel right now. The number 5 for 133 is Chaz Tucker. So okay, sure, and Mickey Phillippe's number 6. But those aren't the considerations really when you're talking about the national champion. It's like who are the best guys, and it's Mueller.
So it's Gross, DeSanto, Bravo Young, or Spencer Lee, Jack Mueller. That's really a consideration.
Sure, and Jack Mueller destroyed him last time, for one.
That was shocking, wasn't it? Shocking.
Shocking. He couldn't get out on bottom. He got ridden for minutes after minutes.
I didn't see that one coming.
No, nor I. So he got destroyed by Mueller already, and throw Mueller out. I wasn't even honestly, I wasn't considering pitch. I wasn't even talking about Mueller. No one's beating Spencer, right? I just don't think that's happening.
If anyone's beating him, it's Sebastian who beat him twice last year.
I suppose that's true, but I just don't see that happening this year. I think it's a different Spencer Lee.
Well, I'm sure Sebastian doesn't feel that same way.
Well,
he doesn't share your sentiment.
He wouldn't. I doubt that he would. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that 125 is harder to win because it has the one guy that is proven. I mean, Seth Gross has been up and down this whole year, right? He's looked good. He's lost. He's had crazy wins. DeSanto, where's he at? RBY, we like him, but he's going to overtime with Sammy Alvarez. Rivera, he's really good, but he hasn't been in the mix. And then you've got Chaz Tucker, and Mickey Philippi, who are very reluctant leg attackers. I don't consider them in the mix. So the top four at 133 is not super consistent, whereas Mueller locked down Rivera, and the point is Spencer Lee.
Okay, so you love Spencer Lee. That's the end of the story.
Well, I mean, I think if you're comparing 125 and 133, what's a tougher guy to go through? I think it's him. My personal opinion.
Okay.
Ben Askren, Joe Smith. Joe Smith is beating 174-pound Missouri Tigers. You said that Joe Smith.
He's a zombie. It's a zombie.
What does that mean?
I think Kyle Bradke needs to do an alien hour on this one. That's a zombie, Joe Smith. He came back.
You think he's back from the dead?
Yeah, we wrote him off. We wrote him off at the UNI duel.
You wrote him off. Don't say we.
Stop.
This is a pro Joe Smith podcast.
Yes, we always have been. We always will be. Cade Brock and Joe Smith. I have irrational confidence and fandom for. So there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, well, I wrote him off at UNI. He looked like a dead man. He's a zombie. I don't know what to tell you.
He is resurrected. He's on. Yeah. He had a little pop, a little fire after he beat Flynn too. It was kind of a close match. He got thrown early.
Yeah, he was down in a 4-0 hole early. They little upper body exchange that Flynn won, but then after that it was all him.
The thing about Joe that's forgotten is he used to have an amazing gas tank. Like if you watch his true freshman Southern Scuffle finals against Nolf, he lost obviously, but he was coming at the end. And basically, Nolf was melting everyone at that point, and basically melted everyone, including Isaiah Martinez that year up until Big Tens and NCAAs. So he was really on a pretty special level there. But, I mean, obviously things have changed since then, but it was an asset he at least once had.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I agree. Who knows? Maybe Zombie Joe Smith will find his gas tank again.
Zombie Joe Smith. Okay. Another, probably the more important match, and that was when Boo Llewellyn lost to Missouri Tiger Brock Mahler in an overtime match, which is, I don't even know.
I just watched. My Vietnamese compatriots just put it up.
Yeah, it started off strong for Llewellyn. I haven't got to watch the match in its entirety yet because
I finished it, so I'll tell you what's up after. He gets Brock Mahler gets the escape in the third period, the ride out at the end, and then wins in overtime with a nice solid leg attack. So huge win for Brock Mahler.
Yeah, that's very big. How do you get this? How do you get the takedown? Oh, like a counter takedown.
It's
Dude,
like he goes
that was
right
slick.
side, boom. It's like that one right there. I guess you kind of call it knee pick ish. I don't know what you call it.
I don't know. He's pretty dang good though. So Mahler takes out Boo, adding to the 149 chaos that we knew was there regardless of who was number one.
That top six at 149, it feels like and I mean I guess you can even throw Deegan in there at 7, although he's you need an APB on him also.
No, he's
but
back.
That top six, when?
He wrestled Saturday against Fresno State and got a pinfall.
Oh, I missed that. I did not realize he was back. Okay, he's back. But so that top 7. man, you could see any of those guys beating any of those other guys, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And that's kind of been the theme with 149 all year long, kind of dealer's choice. Our pick, Sammy Sasso, is at number 1, and I'm no more or less confident than I was when I made the pick in the preseason. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. Okay. Do we want to get – I want to get to this question. Because Ben and I were in a text thread, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago. And it was about Penn State. And I just want to read Cooper. This is a pre-questions from friends. The true friends get their questions read before the even questions from friends segment because their questions are so good. Okay, Cooper Wills says, seeing as how Iowa returns 9 of 10 starters and likely replaces Lugo with Ironman, probably not, but Ironman will be in there. Should PSU punt next year? Let Lee, DeSanto, Ironman, Bull, Kemmer all graduate. Redshirt, Nick Lee, Kirkfleet, RBY, Brooks, Howard, and Bartlett. You forget how many guys Penn State has red shirts available, right?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until you said that. I was like, whoa, really?
Yeah. So all those guys, and I don't know if Kirkfleet can redshirt. I don't know what his situation's going to be, how this year is going to be treated. You never know. I would assume this would be
He did qualify for an Olympic, didn't he?
Yes.
So maybe that could be that. This year could be that.
That, and then next year he could redshirt.
Yeah.
But the point was, Ben was a little bearish on Penn State now and looking to the future.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I said it feels like, I don't know that it is. It feels like the Penn State dynasty is over for a while. I mean, when you look at their cupboard, even the 1 year that they didn't win, they had a bunch of guys on the bench, and you said, okay, next year you got Nolf, you got Nickel, you got Rutherford. They're gonna probably win next year.
Nico.
This year it's like Nico. Yeah, this year you're like, okay, they're probably unlikely to win this year, and then they lose Hall and Chenzo. They're not going to replace those with equivalent points. Iowa's not getting worse, and then Michigan's bringing a whole bunch back. Cornell's bringing a whole bunch back from Olympic redshirt. Man, they're not going to win next year probably either. And then the year after that, they lose Nick Lee and RBY. I mean, when are they going to win again?
I don't know. I mean, I think they could. I think next year they have the opportunity to field a really tough team.
Who?
Right?
Name their team next year.
Next year they could go Robbie Howard, Roman Bravo Young, Nick Lee, Verclaren Berge, Joe Lee, Carter Starocki, Aaron Brooks, Michael Beard, Daniel Kirkfleet.
But that lineup doesn't match up with Iowa. It just doesn't.
Perhaps not. I think you could say it does. I think Kirkfleet can win a title next year, right?
Well, I want to see him on the map before I attribute any points to him.
Well, I mean, you need to see him on the mat. I mean, I watched him at senior nationals.
Well,
that guy was beating grown men.
Meaning, I need to see his ability to stay in college for at one school for the next 3 semesters.
Okay,
to get it done.
That's very fair.
Because that's obviously a necessity to compete at the NCAA tournament in 2021. That being said, Beard, I mean, if we think about how good Nolf, Nickel, all these guys looked in their redshirt year, Beard doesn't look that good. Nickel was, I mean, he had the one puzzling loss, but besides that, he looked pretty good. He beat Brian Real Budo, and Real Budo was ranked number 2?
No, that was Nolf. Nolf beat Real Budo. Nickel did not have a win of note.
Nickel beat Real Budo at the scuffle. I remember the match.
Not as a true freshman, though. That was as a...
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
Red shirt? I got the years mixed up.
It's okay. Well, because it's confusing because Nolf and Nickel both beat Real Budo at the scuffle, but Nolf beat him as a true freshman, right?
And Nickel beat him as a freshman.
Yes, as a redshirt freshman.
Okay. Anyways, Beard doesn't look like he's going to be a world beater. He looks like he's going to be a solid turkey sandwich guy. To your point, I feel the same way about Joe Lee. Obviously, Berge and Verclaren have not made those jumps yet, and 133 is going to be stacked again next year for RBY because you got Suriano coming back. You have Dayton Fix coming back. 33 is going to be absurd, and then The what Michic's coming back. The one guy who I say, oh my, this guy's really like I'm really impressed is Carter Soroki. I think he's kind of like appears as though he's on that Nolf trajectory.
Yes, I think he's going to be really dang good. And I watched him in high school, and I thought, yeah, he's good. This will be a good guy. He goes to Penn State. You're like, okay, he's probably going to be really good. But and you know what? Maybe we're overreacting a little bit, but because of the guys he beat. But it was how he beat him. It was how good he looked on his attacks, how he fought through like every finish. He just seemed really well developed. He's got good natural ability, I would say. So I think he's going to be a national champion for them at some point. So you look at Starocki. They're going to have RBY, Nick Lee, Kirkfleet. That's a really strong nucleus.
Yeah, but think about how good Iowa doesn't lose almost anything this year.
I know. They lose Lugo.
They replace with Ironman. I mean, think about that.
Sort of.
They're going to be well, sort of. I mean, right, in one way or the other, they're going to have two really good guys at 41, 49.
Yes.
Dude, that's going to be a ridiculous team this year. And then when you look at Cornell's lineup or Michigan's lineup, because of the people they're bringing back from Olympic red shirt, you're like, wow, those are really good lineups too. I mean, Cornell's going to have Yanni, Aruja, Dean, and the GOAT Ben Darmstadt among many others.
Thank you.
Michigan's going to have Michich. They're going to have Caden Storr, Massa, who's never placed high at the NCAA tournament but is really good. Amin, the other Amin. Who else am I forgetting from Michigan? There's someone I'm forgetting.
Did you say – you said Kanan. You didn't say Silva.
I said Kanan. Stop.
Will Luan, Cam Amin, Miles Amin.
Will Luan was the guy. Oh my gosh, I forgot Mason Paris.
They're
going to have a really good team. They're going to have a really good team next year.
That is a really good team. It's crazy. In March of 2019, we're like, when this Penn State thing is just not going to end. This is just our Division I reality that we just have to accept.
Yeah.
And then come into this season, everyone was picking Penn State. Everyone. And then, obviously the Kassar injury is gutting to their chances.
That's huge.
That is huge. So that can't really be – that's not a negative to Penn State. That's just the reality of wrestling.
Yeah.
But – where it's. I guess my question is, where did it shift? Where did it go wrong? Where did it become like, this team's not going to win every title every year?
Yeah, I think it's this. I think it's people thought they were going to have something at 125. They don't. People thought Shakur was going to be back and he was going to be good, or Cannell is going to be good. They're not that great at that weight class. People thought Berge might develop at 57. Obviously, he hasn't shown up, so we don't know that he's going to develop. And then you're looking at scalpel results for Beard and for Joe Lee, and they're not all that mind-blowing. I mean, really, Soroki is the one guy where I'm like, okay, wow, he's going to be really good. But I don't think he's going to score more points than Mark Hall is or Vincenzo Joseph is.
The one thing I'm thinking about with Penn State, and Cale is just a tireless worker and recruiter and always looking for the way to make his team better is what can they do in the transfer market, right? Because obviously, what we're outlining right now doesn't look good. But you know what? It probably, there was a time it didn't look great for Iowa, and then they get Lugo, and then they get DeSanto, and next thing you know, on top of a really, really strong recruiting class, Ironman, right? You get three guys like that, it can happen like that too, right?
Absolutely.
And in this day and age, we're seeing it more and more. So that's one aspect that can't be discounted when we're, and I think the last thing you want to do is bury Penn State because
I'm not burying them. I'm saying looking forward, what we see right now is that they have a very uphill battle. They need to go spend some big money on the free agent market is what I would do if I were them.
Yeah, they may need to. But it's tough. They've been trying for years to get a 25, and it's been really hard for them. So
Nomad said they're done on that weight class.
Oh, that's right, they're done on that one. So they're 33 up, 25. Whoever can make the weight is
they're challenging themselves. They're trying to win NCAAs every year by only really wrestling 9 weights.
Yes. That was Nomad's bit. So yeah, it's funny because what is crazy to me is like I guess, can you get caught up so in the moment and what's happening that you only project the good? Because, or does it maybe shine a light that it's just so hard to sustain this, right? Even
I mean,
eight of 9 is so insane, right? But it's like sustaining that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. It's just they've set such a high expectation that, you know, in reality, we should know that they couldn't have kept that up. Nobody can. It's damn near impossible. And so, you know, it's our expectation of the reality that they set that is leading us to say these things. It's like, okay, if you told me, hey, Penn State's going to be top 4 next year, okay, I see that. And the year after that, yeah, sure, I agree with that. But that's not the reality that they set.
True. So I thought that was interesting that you say that, because I'm still in this like frame of mind, like something's going to happen. There's going to be a curveball. There's going to be something that happens that keeps Penn State on top. But the closer we get to March, the less real that becomes.
Yeah.
And the team race next year is going to be really – and it could be Iowa may be way too good next year. That could be the reality. Man,
yeah.
Michigan and Cornell are going to make things super fun.
Yes, I agree.
Looking forward to that. Speaking of Michigan, they wrestle Iowa this week. But huge duel, undefeated NC State versus one-loss UNC.
Oh, yeah.
Bracky's working on a preview for this one. Any quick cliff notes on this one?
No, it should be. It's crazy. You know, was working on updating dual rankings this morning, and 3 of the top 6 teams in the country right now are in the ACC. With NC
in duels?
State, in duels, with North Carolina at 11-1, NC State 12-0, and Virginia Tech 10-1. And the one loss for Virginia Tech came to North Carolina. So they're all 3 really strong dual teams. But this one is probably going to decide the regular season title. NC State still has a duel with Virginia Tech later in the year, but they win this one, they're definitely in the driver's seat.
So some of the big matches there, I think there's a lot of toss-ups in this match. You look at the lightweights, Melendez, Camacho, Hernandez, Trombley. Wilson, Sherman is going to be really interesting. Really interesting match. I like both those guys. I think Zach Sherman's really talented. But Tariq Wilson's beaten him 3 times. Yet, the WrestleStat prediction has Sherman over Tariq Wilson. So I don't know if...
What is WrestleStat doing?
I don't know. Some of these are crazy. They have... I forget. I saw some wild ones that didn't exactly make sense.
Well, it's strictly... WrestleStat's strictly a numerical algorithm, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So a lot of people want... talk about algorithms for wrestling rankings. I feel like... I've seen so many attempts. I'm like, you can't do it with an algorithm. You can't mathematically do it, because I've seen so many people try, and I'm like, well, that makes no sense. And I'm sure the people that built that would say that doesn't make sense. And Seton Hall Pirate, he has his thing. It doesn't make sense either. So I don't know. I don't think there's a way to mathematically arrange these guys. It requires a human mind, I feel like. Which is maybe one of the last things that requires a human mind over automation. So maybe we should celebrate that.
There's a lot of things. Automation does simple tasks well, but they are not yet using like complex logic for, say, wrestling rankings.
Yes.
Well, 65 should be interesting too, with Kennedy Monday and Thomas Bullard. And we talked about the ups and downs of Kennedy Monday. You know, he texted David McFadden last week.
Yeah.
And then the next Saturday turns around and gets pinned in the first period by Zach Hartman of Bucknell. So I guess, what are we going to get there at 65?
That's a weird matchup, because Kennedy Monday only shoots and Tommy Bullard almost refuses to shoot. So it'll be Monday finishing draped, Bullard trying to dive over and trap an arm and do some crazy counter. That's my expectation, at least. I think Monday will win that, but he just rolled over half.
That's where Kennedy Monday got David McFadden, caught him twice off of a terrible leg pass attempt and ended up with the Turk and then put him on his back.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I would be really surprised if Monday lost that one. They're going to need him to win that one.
for sure, because you look 49. UNC's a big favorite with Austin O'Connor and AJ Lighton.
Yeah.
But then the way Hayden Hidley's been wrestling, even with a ranked AC Headley, you got to think they're probably thinking bonus points there.
Also, I know Headley's at 57, but there's got to be a horsepower issue there. This guy was at 33, 41, and now up at 57. Yeah. He's having a great year. Don't get me wrong, but Hayden Hidley's, the number 2 ranked guy in the country, and he's been on a bonus point tear.
Yeah, he's like at 70.
I actually feel like AC Headley. I guess I'm kind of thinking of the Will Luan match. He does wrestle pretty solid defensively, and especially out of underhooks. And I know Hayden Hidley is going to try to score from underhooks, and so it's like, okay, is Hayden Hidley so good that Headley can't even stop him, or is he going to make it competitive and really, I don't think that AC Headley can win the match, but is he going to make it a 5-2 type match?
Yeah, perhaps he could do that. That would be big for the duel. Yeah, it'll probably hover. Hayden beat Quincy Monday 7-2. Kendall Coleman, he majored Kendall Coleman though, so I don't know. It'll be an interesting match that they're going to probably need bonus points for the duel. But it seems like NC State is probably the favorite on paper. Is that how you see it? I think they match up okay. UNC needs to do work at the lightweights, I think.
Yeah, they need to win those toss-ups at the lightweights. And then I don't know if Reedham will be back or not. He didn't wrestle against Pitt on Sunday or last Saturday night. So if not, if you're UNC, you need to take advantage of that and get bonus points there. And then heavyweight's kind of a toss-up too with Deontay Wilson, who's been wrestling tough, and Andrew Gunning. You need that one if you're in North Carolina too.
Yeah. So this is the thing with these duels. Sometimes it comes down to the matches that have really no other impact on the country. So that's Friday at 7. I don't know if I'll be able to watch that one, but I'm sure as heck going to try. A couple other big duels. Penn State, Wisconsin. I think
I'll be there.
You're going?
We're moving our Friday practice up to 5 to 6 p.m. so we can have all of our kids try to attend that match.
You were just following Penn State now.
I'm stalking them. They might come at, the fans might come at me now that I said I think there's a possibility their dynasty is over for a few years.
Yeah. We'll see. We were talking over this match, I forget when, but kind of sort of winnable for Wisconsin. I mean, a lot of things need to break their way.
It absolutely is.
But, 125, Barnett and Meredith. I think if you're Wisconsin, you think you can probably win that one.
Yes.
33.
I mean, Barnett was up 8-1 on Devin Schrader last weekend and just made some dumb freshman mistakes. But I feel like after watching the match, I feel like he could beat Devin Schrader. It's not like where I'm like, oh my God, he just got lucky.
Schrader.
What? Same thing. It's
Same
not
thing.
like I said he got lucky and scored 8 points. It was like, no, he scored 8 points fair and square. And I feel like he's in that match the next time with Devin Schroeder.
Schroeder Baggins.
And oh my gosh. So yes, I think he's going to beat Brandon Meredith.
Okay. And then the marquee match, in my opinion, I mean, you could say 65, but gross RBY is going to be awesome.
Yes.
I don't think RBY will win this one, but I really think he matches up better than maybe people realize.
Yeah. I think it's going to be competitive, but I think Gross wins. I think he's just better. And, I will retract my statement about I don't think RBY can Mattel this year if he wins on Friday night.
Okay. So we could have a retraction section. That's very journalistic of us to have retractions. Actually, more so than actual journalism these days, interestingly. You got something funny?
No.
Giggles?
No, I'm just laughing at your comment.
Oh, okay, great.
Comment.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot. Then 41, I mean, Nick Lee, Tristan Moran.
It's awesome, too. That was a crazy match last year.
But it was less crazy at Big Tens because he majored him. Nick Lee majored Tristan 11-3, which is more what I would expect this time.
I'm going to ignore that.
I know you are. You love Tristan Moran.
He's a good kid.
Do you have another child and name him Tristan?
I don't believe him. I'm going to impregnate my wife again.
You don't have to put it in such crass terms, Ben. But okay.
In crass terms.
Well, I don't know.
Impregnate. That's not a naughty word.
I know. It's just I don't know. It sounded it sounded so biological.
Did you watch the halftime show, Christian? Do you realize what the norms in society are today?
What happened? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Lordy.
I was at a Sunday school Super Bowl party.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
Oh,
what was the reaction to that? Did they turn it off?
Turn it off and started praying.
Yeah, I was like looking at my phone. The ladies were outside for the most part, so it wasn't as awkward. And
what about the kids? Where were the kids? That's what I'd be worried about.
Kids were playing. They could care less about football. They weren't even watching the game.
Good,
they were outside playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
Well,
I'm not
better.
Yeah, if I had to explain that to sweet Natalie, no.
My 6'4" and 2-year-old were watching, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh God." Oh, jeez. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Stop watching. We'll put on Blue's Clues. All right, so you've got Moran by fall over Nick Lee. I've got Nick Lee.
Yes.
I got Nick Lee in this one. He's just looked really good. But Tristan Moran's one of those guys. But for Wisconsin to do it, I think they'll probably need that one. Oh, here's an interesting one. WrestleStat has Verclearen over Cole Martin, which I don't know that I understand. Yeah, I don't think I understand that. I like Martin to win this match. Do you?
I like Martin also.
Yes.
I agree. I mean, Martin did lose to Rooks on Friday night, but he came back and had a solid win on Sunday.
Graham Rooks, tell him, Kyle.
Everybody,
Graham Rooks, good.
He's beating everybody, man. I want to pull it up here because I want to get it right.
We should have like a heater alert section. Be like, hey, someone's kind of on a heater right now.
Okay,
well, it would be Graham Rooks.
Graham Rooks is on a heater. Since Midlands, 2 wins over Yaya Thomas. Remember, we watched Pat Lugo only beat him like 10-6, and we're like, what the heck's up with Pat Lugo?
Nothing's up with Pat Lugo. Yeah. Graham Rooks is really good.
Then he almost majors Griffin Perriott. And beats Cole Martin, and then Brayton Lee was 5-2. So he's just really good.
So heater alert for there. And we have a heater alert at 184.
Yeah, Cam Caffey.
It's not just the hair. He's not just a hair gimmick. This guy's beating a lot of really good guys. He beat Vince. He was down. How big was he down to Vince before coming back?
5-1.
5-1 against Taylor Vince
in the third period. So it started with Owen Webster. He beats Owen Webster, then he beats Taylor Vance, then he gets revenge on Bronigal, and then he beats Assad.
Yeah, Bronigal who majored him.
Nice little run.
Who had better hair, Ben? You at your peak or Cam Caffey?
Me.
I actually agree. You didn't have to resort to the dye. I like the natural haircut. You had some phases, though. The cornrows, that was the worst, though. That was terrible.
What do you mean? Sargouche pulled my hair out. I wasn't going to have that happen again. Tyron Lewis pulled my hair really bad, too.
Tyron Lewis?
Damn straight he did.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Darn it. Well, I'm sorry. I remember you complaining about the Sargouche one.
Sargouche, my hair was literally clumps of my hair were laying on the mat, and I was pointing to the ref like, he said, no, okay, it's okay. I'm like, it's not okay, you son of a gun.
Little did you know you were in the presence of a transcendent cheater, the likes of which we may never see again. That guy is one of the biggest cheaters ever in matches. Pulling the single.
Grab single leg.
Yeah, that's a pretty sick setup, actually. He is the worst. I cannot stand Sargouche. One of my biggest wrestling regrets in life is that Burroughs never got to beat him again after 14. After losing to him in 14, Sargouche never made another team or anything, and he just kind of stayed off the streets. Yeah. That definitely stunk. Not as bad as him losing to Godoyev. That was like PTSD inducing. That was like the saddest day at Flow ever. We were just walking around and everyone was like,
it was miserable.
Everyone was like, you guys okay? Like it was like someone died. I don't know what it is about Jordan that brings about that kind of a reaction from us and me specifically, but it was really, really rough. Okay, sad, yeah. I don't know how we ended up there for clearing Cole Martin, and then we ended up at freaking Sargouche It happened naturally.
Cole Martin.
And, man, it really hurts not having a better 57 for Wisconsin because Penn State's vulnerable there. But I think I think Pfeiffer wins pretty handily over Sharon Brock.
Sharon Brock's been struggling quite a bit lately. I thought he was going to have a little better go at it. Hold on, I'm looking him up, but he has not had a nice run lately, unfortunately.
I thought it was going to be Garrett Model.
Model? I mean, sorry, who knows? They might bring Model back out. These guys, they're really competitive. But now Sharon Brock's lost 4 in a row. So he's lost to Rob Cleary, Fernie Silva, and Kendall Coleman.
Yeah, it's going to be it'll probably be a decision loss, but a loss all the same. They'll probably need 65 Wick over Chenzo, who aren't allowed to wrestle. But maybe they will be allowed to wrestle.
Maybe Chenzo won't show up.
That would be a shocker. Maybe. That would be a shocker. That would be very bad for Penn State if that were to happen. But I personally think it's a really tough matchup for Wick. I don't think he matches up well at all.
I mean, it's hard, right? Because you're saying if he matches up bad, you're saying he won't be able to ride him, which, even Marinelli, he's able to ride very, very consistently. And then you're saying maybe he's not going to get to his single leg, right? Because that's, where he struggles against Marinelli is that he doesn't get his hands on the legs very often. And if he does get the hands on the legs, generally he's able to find a decent amount of success. I mean, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I mean, even if he got to his lock, I think Chenzo's leg defense is too good. I don't see him finishing. I don't think he'll ride him either. I really don't. I think Chenzo's going to get away.
Evan's usually really disciplined in not wrestling positions he doesn't want to wrestle in. Like, you don't see him wrestling upper body positions very often, which obviously I think Chenzo will probably try to force those positions. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there also.
Yeah, I just see Chenzo getting to a single leg, finishing, maybe riding a little bit. I think he could ride Wick, honestly. So I don't know. Yeah. It's not going to be a blowout, but I've never thought this was a really good matchup for Wick. And I think Wick can beat just about anybody. And certainly he can beat Chenzo, but I just think it's a really tough matchup for him. I don't see it happening. Hall over your guy Kradiger, that's probably going to happen, buddy.
Likely. Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately. And then Brooks over Sebastian.
Hey, I got a question. Okay. I'm looking at the flow ranks. Why did you guys move Johnny Sebastian from 11 to 23 all in 1 week? And I realized he lost one match to Owen Webster, which was 2 weeks ago, actually. But besides that, he's won most of his matches. I'm going to scroll to WrestleStats, so I have the exact stats. But he beat Purdue. He beat Indiana. And, he's beat Cash Wilkie twice. Obviously lost to Lujan. Medical forfeited against the Army guy.
I'm guessing that
how do you move down 12 spots?
I talked to Spay yesterday because I kind of asked the same thing. And he was like, his best win's Cash Wilkie. And there were then you had guys like Rocky Jordan and Billy Janzer and Cam Caffey, who I believe were all behind him. Yeah, they were. And just have much better wins to this point in the season. Yeah. And he's like, it's one of those things where I think he realized he should have done it sooner.
Just for example, look at number 22, Owen Webster. He's beaten Rocky Jordan. Listen, he's beaten Rocky Jordan, Johnny Sebastian, Ben Darmstadt, and Montalvo. Those are really good wins. And Johnny Sebastian's best win is over a guy that's not even starting anymore and is just the height of that person's career is making the round of 12. So
yeah, you just generally don't see such dramatic moves in the rankings at this point of the season. So that's why I was kind of caught off guard. Obviously, you guys that weight class, Spay mixed it all up because you got Janzer and Jordan moving from 23 and 24 to 12 and 13. There was a lot more movement in that weight class than you generally see at this point of the season.
What I would guess happened with Sebastian is probably he should have been moving down before more gradually, and you just kind of have these sort of dawnings. You're like, wait, oh shoot, I gotta hit Sebastian here. That's probably what happened.
And he's kind of been on a pitch count too. So he's been in and out of the lineup. So I think that played a part in it as well. If he had been wrestling all those matches, he might have started coming down or have more staying power too.
Wisconsin fans got a quick fix for this one. If he beats Aaron Brooks, we'll be right back in the mix.
Oh yeah,
that's the one thing. It's always on them, right? They do it, then it happens. So that would be a big one. Then 197, probably not good for Wisconsin, as Christensen will likely fall to Shakur Rashid. Although Shakur hasn't looked great, I still think he'll win this one handily. And then comes down to heavyweight, Thor versus Neville's. You got to have Thor in this one.
Yeah, I have not heard rumors. I think they said he's going to be fine, but he did get headbutted, and the other guy got DQ'd, and they were checking him out on Sunday. It seemed like on Monday that he was going to be fine, but I haven't got 100% thumbs up on that one.
He must have really got walloped.
Yeah, he got DQ'd. The dude headbutted him.
I knew he got DQ'd, but I didn't. I
headbutted him straight in the face.
Jeez.
So you got Badgers. Probable win at 33. Probable win at 25, 33. Possible win at 41. Probable win at 49. Possible win at 65. And probable win at heavyweight. I think that's a duel that we could win.
It's absolutely winnable. It's good. Is it going to be crazy there, Ben?
I would assume that we're going to have a good tournament. The only problem is that there's a whole bunch of conference tournaments that are this Friday night. So, all the local ones here for my high school guys are Friday night, which is the same night as a duel. So that's really unfortunate. Obviously, we'll have a lot of our youth guys going. I would assume it's going to be a good turnout, but I think the conference tournaments around the state are going to make it kind of difficult.
Okay. Yeah, that's often an obstacle. All right.
Gee.
So, Iowa, Michigan? Cassiope, Paris. I just want your prediction on that one, Ben.
I got to pick Big Tone. I'm excited for the match, but after watching his scrambling ability, his balance, his flexibility, got to pick him.
That would be my pick as well, although I feel like Paris could, as athletic as Cassiope is, I think that's the area where Paris could exploit Cassiope. If he makes it about 10 leg attacks, it could go one of two ways. I could see him just getting reattacked to death and smashed, or he could just death of 1,000 cuts and eventually break through and get a couple takedowns going. I don't see how he gets his dump against Cassiope.
And I agree. I don't see how he gets that at all.
But I don't see how he ever gets it. I'm like, how is he hitting that move at this level against these guys? He's hitting in the Junior World Finals against guys that have beaten legit world medalists. So I don't know. Maybe he's just going to dump him to his back. But until I see it, I'm not going to predict it. Also, I'm curious for this Luan Caleb Young match. I could see this being a pretty close bout.
Yeah, that should be really competitive. Caleb Luan's really hard to score on. Caleb Young's not dynamic. I definitely see it being like a 3-2. I just don't. What offense is Will Luan going to score on Caleb Young with? I think this is a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. That will be the challenge. I think it's going to be. That's why I think it's going to be a really low scoring match. But I think Will Luan will have a hard time getting away from Young, and it could come down to riding time, or it could just be a takedown, ride out, and then match is over. They both exchange escapes, and he gets riding time type of deal. Okay. We talked a little about dual rankings. Did you want to talk about them anymore, Steve and Kyle?
There wasn't a ton going on. Ohio State did lose that to Nebraska, so Nebraska jumps up into the top 8 or so. And then the other big mover was Minnesota, who has a lot of really nice wins on the year. And they have 5 losses, but every single one is to a top 20 team. They went over Wisconsin, and then they just beat Purdue this weekend. So,
yeah, I wouldn't have expected Minnesota with their, because they've been kind of highly ranked tournament, but they're not going to be a very good duel. But they've been really solid in dual meets despite their lineup. So a tough team there. Is Arizona State just going to be second all year long? Is there nothing?
No, there is something that can happen.
What could happen?
I think if Penn State
that doesn't feel. I don't know why that doesn't feel right, Steve and Kyle.
I mean, they beat them. They beat Penn State.
I understand, but it just doesn't feel like. I don't know. These dual rankings don't feel right for some reason, and I obviously get your logic. I understand it, but it just feels weird when you look at Iowa, Arizona State, Penn State, North Carolina, NC State, Virginia Tech. Like something about that doesn't feel right.
Well, I do think there's going to be a decent amount of movement here at the end because, North Carolina and North Carolina State are going to wrestle each other. NC State still wrestles Virginia Tech. And then, but I do think there is a way for Penn State to jump Arizona State. First of all, Penn State wrestles Wisconsin and Minnesota this weekend, who are both top 16 matchups. And then they wrestle Ohio State next weekend. And I think if they beat Ohio State, who beat Arizona State, that resume is probably good enough to jump them to number 2.
Because what does Arizona State's schedule look like? It can't be that tough moving forward.
So this weekend, I know they have Little Rock and Missouri.
That's probably their toughest.
But Missouri, not a ranked dual team right now. And then
come on.
Wow.
They Cal Poly, CSU,
year.
Bakersfield, but then they finish with
UNC.
Lehigh and North Carolina.
They are going to have. They're
Yeah.
going to lose again. I think at some point Arizona State's going to lose. Whether it's Missouri, Lehigh,
they are
UNC.
Are their kids even going to school this semester? They're going to Little Rock, Missouri, Cal Poly, Cal Bakersfield, Lehigh, and North Carolina. That is like a boatload of travel.
That is ridiculous.
On that online grind. They have to be.
They have to be.
Did you take any online classes, Ben? When you were
I don't think that was really a thing when I was in college. I don't really remember it being a thing.
really, yeah, kind of only more recently. Okay, so yeah. I do think I don't see any. I would be surprised if Arizona State finished second for the dual rankings. But Ben, you should take a crack at them.
What you want me to rip on? Arizona
No,
State?
not right now. Yeah, but come up with your own top 10.
Are you just trying? At the rankings. I thought you meant take a crack at Arizona State. Like you guys use me as like the hitman who's going to get in trouble because I pick on everyone. Like you were probably thinking the exact same thing about Penn State, but you want me to say it because I'm
actually not. No, I actually wasn't really thinking it until you texted it to me.
It's tough with the dual rankings because teams do transform themselves from the beginning of the year to the end. Yeah. Like you look at South Dakota State, they lost to Binghamton in November. And now they're ranked 25th and they've beaten Northern Iowa and Oklahoma and all these really good schools. But I try to just stick to the results, especially when you have like a head-to-head with Arizona State and Penn State. Like we saw that match. Penn State could have won. They had every opportunity to win that duel and they didn't.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it tough.
Okay. Do we want to get to some questions from friends?
Let's do it.
Okay. First question. What sports / physical competitions do you think you could beat Ben in?
Is this question to Piles or to Breck?
It's to me.
Pretty athletic.
Brecky's pretty athletic, yeah. But so he can join in too. I think. Well, I'll lead off with something. I definitely could beat you in ping pong. I could beat you in
what?
Absolutely, I'd smoke you in ping pong. I would.
We're putting that on. We're putting that on Facebook Live at some point.
Okay, let's do that
Next
for sure.
time you're here.
Yeah, you need to get back to Austin soon. So
There's a ping pong at your office.
Obviously, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, I don't remember seeing it. Where's it at?
It's right by the steps. When you go up the steps to the second level,
I know what you're talking about.
That couch area. So I could beat you in that. There's at any point in your life, I think I could have beaten you in any running competition distance, however, no matter how short or long.
Offensive. I find this to be offensive.
Why do you find that to be offensive? You're a freaking Olympian.
What's your mile time, Piles?
My best mile, I was not that fast as a miler. I was I ran like a 5:10.
5:10? That's not fast. Give me a break. That's
for
like lightning.
If anyone that ever ran track in high school, a 5:10, you're not winning nothing with that. That's not fast.
I never cracked. I did get close to 6 minutes one time, but I've never cracked 6 minutes. Brecky, do you think 5:10 is a fast mile?
You've probably run faster than that, haven't you?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. I think the fastest I ran was like 5:40.
Well, I literally ran track. It was like the point.
You ran
I ran
track. Swim.
I ran like a 10:08 2 mile.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Those are good mile times.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are really fast. Yeah, my friends actually make fun of me for like being a successful athlete. I'm really not very athletic, so
I didn't run a 10:08. No. It was 11:08.
11:08. I was trying to do math on that.
I'm like,
the truth comes out.
Well, yeah. People are going to start doing math there. No, I never ran at 10:08. That would have been really fast. I could beat you in probably, I could do more pull-ups than you. Could probably do,
I'd have to cut weight for the pull-up contest.
Pull-ups, push-ups, dips. I could probably do more than you. Yeah, I don't know. Not many sports. I could probably beat you one-on-one in basketball. Just guessing.
Oh, I'd rough you up.
Yeah, you probably just back me down like Barkley. All right, Bracky, what would you beat Ben Askren in?
I think
fantasy football.
Spike ball.
Oh.
For sure.
You can even pick your partner. I don't care. Being you in spike ball. I would have said basketball too, but maybe Ben's size.
I can't play basketball very well.
I just feel like he could just physically dominate us.
Yeah.
So, okay. It's a lot of the answer is a lot of things. Next question.
Well, there's probably a lot of things you could beat us in.
Disc golf, MMA, wrestling.
Jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah, that's a sport too. Jiu-jitsu.
That is a sport.
Ultimate frisbee. Ultimate frisbee.
I'm actually kind of good at that because I'm sort of fast and quick. But you can probably really throw the frisbee. When you come to Austin, once you get to the hip situation straightened away, we can rough up some people at Zilker Park.
Well, I don't even like running really, so I don't need to run. I don't need a hip for ultimate frisbee. All I do is I stand and I throw, and then maybe I play a little bit of defense and I throw, kind of the quarterback situation.
Got it. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, That was the first question. This is for Ben. Who has better leg defense, Sammy Sasso or Dayton Fix?
I would say Sasso because I think Dayton maybe is slightly harder to score on, but Sasso has more big move potential.
That's how I see it as well. I was actually going to say Dayton because so few guys even can get in on him, and even when they do,
I thought the question was once they get in.
No, you're right. You're right. That could be how you read it. Leg defense, like once they're to a lock. Sammy does have more point scoring potential, but Dayton is tougher to get to. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Kurt Backus said it's I forget where Kurt Backus landed on this, but there's a big debate. Is it called a cow catcher or cement job?
It's that cement job is when you roll this way.
That's what I thought too.
Come on.
But I'm totally disqualified because I never heard cow catcher. So I was just in my Virginia bubble. We called it
what did you call in Virginia?
A chin and arm. That's all we called it. Chin and arm.
Chin and arm too.
Chin and arm. That's all I thought it was.
That move is the oldest move in wrestling. It has a billion names depending on where you're at. Mm-hmm. We call it the honey badger here in Wisconsin.
That's right.
And
so regional.
And yeah, and so I've heard it called the snake, cow catcher. The cement job is when you roll this way, which some people then say the cement mixer is when you roll that way, and the cement job is when you go the other way. That's effing confusing.
Too much concrete.
Yeah,
way too much concrete. So call whatever the hell you like. I don't think it matters how that much.
All right, Bracky, what'd you call it? And we'll move on.
I don't remember.
Really?
It wasn't cow catcher.
Well, you don't remember?
I don't remember what it's called.
Brad, you have to remember what that move was called. You've been doing it since 5 years old in West Virginia.
Yeah, in West Virginia, that's got to be the go-to pinning combo.
Let me think on it, but it was not. It was not.
Can we get Brandon Rader on the horn or something?
No, the go-to pinning combo is a freaking head and arm. They called it a cowboy.
They call it cowboy in Virginia too. That's all I knew it as a cowboy.
The headlock.
Yeah,
headlock is called a cowboy.
Yeah, a cowboy.
That's so funny. People? That's so funny they call it that in Virginia.
That was the go-to move.
I heard some people call that a barnyard too.
Barnyard.
Oh my god.
We need to consolidate all the names for all the moves.
That would be funny to have a website where it said headlock and then it listed all the different things based on the regional terms. You know, one thing that I always wonder about though is like, say a gut wrench, which is obviously very specific. You're wrenching the gut, like what's it called in Russia? It's probably not called the gut wrench.
Probably not. We need to find out. Well, is Vugar on the line?
I haven't seen him today.
Dang it!
Is it called like the belly squeeze, or it could be anything? We don't even know.
Could be anything. They call the wrestling matches carpet struggle, and this is the Google Translate.
So some people are waiting on Facebook and letting us know what they call it in their area. Someone said the egg beater, a reverse snake.
Reverse
Bulldog.
snake?
And
well, what's the forward snake?
In Georgia, you got the bulldog.
Bulldog.
Oh, my God.
Bulldog is another thing I've heard called a three-quarter Nelson, three-quarter stack.
Hey, I got to plug my computer and give me 3 seconds. You guys can keep talking.
Yeah, we'll keep talking. Ben's getting audio.
No. My battery.
Battery. Got it. Okay. Could someone? Cooper wants to know if Ben and I can do audio for more matches. He says, I felt like I was listening to the 56 World Series. It was awesome. Well, thank you, Cooper. I hope we get to do that again. I certainly want to. Yeah, I'm sure. I think probably next year we'll have like more of a solidified plan going into it. This was just like, hey, let's try something. And, it was cool, and people seem to like it, and a lot of people listen to it. So I think we'll do it again. Did you enjoy it, Ben?
I actually had it was fun. I had a few of my parents asking me. They said, they were at the point in time, they were just listening to the audio, and they were trying to figure out what the hell was going on during the situation with DeSanto and RBY, because they couldn't figure out what exactly we were talking about, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. I've only really ever commentated matches that people were watching along with me in video, so there's maybe a little change up for describing what's happening, but it was fun. We can do better.
Hey, I got to respond to this Alex D, whatever his damn name is, whatever. Mm-hmm. He said, I blame Ben for every high school referring to a chin whip as an assassin. A chin whip and an assassin, they are not similar at all. So because your high school kids don't know what the hell wrestling moves are, I can't take blame for that. An assassin is very specific. They're laying flat. You lock around deep. You walk around the body. That is what an assassin is. If your kids want to call other things assassins, not on me.
Yes.
Someone just put in and it reminded me. We called it a chancellor. The chin and arm.
Oh, I've heard it called
chancellor. I don't know why.
What is a chancellor?
They try to be so highfalutin in West Virginia. These fancy names.
What did a chancellor got to do with putting someone on their back?
I don't know, but that's what we called it. Someone put it in there and it triggered it. That's
this person, an everyday toaster at ToastForwardLife69 asks, which wrestler owns the biggest revenge win of all time? Bubba over Taylor, Caldwell over Metcalf, Perry over Hendricks. Or you could feel free to submit another revenge win.
Those are really good ones.
I think the answer is clear. For me, it's Perry over Hendricks. I think it's Perry over Hendricks.
Why? Because Hendricks beat him like 7 in a row, and then
because it was about that guy beating that guy. Bubba was about. There was so much additional vitriol. I mean, you were his coach, but that was a Kale thing, is more so than it was David Taylor.
That's still part of the revenge, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's up there. Caldwell over Metcalf is not a revenge thing. It's just like he beat him.
I don't feel like that.
And then he beat. I mean, they kind of exchanged wins. That was just an epic win, but I don't think it was revenge. I think Perry going to Iowa instead of Oklahoma State, losing to Hendricks 10, 11 times, whatever it was, and then finally getting over the hump against that guy. That makes it for me. But, yeah, maybe it could be Bubba.
Hey, I just got a comment on Twitter about the assassin also. Can I say something else?
Yeah, Ben, you can. You don't have to ask.
Well, I don't want to, butt in on the revenge discussion.
Oh my gosh, we went from Sargoosh hair pulling to Cam Caffey in 2 seconds. You think you can't ask a question?
I pick Perry over Hendricks. P.S. And said New York State has made the assassin an illegal move. So beyond dumb. Obviously, New York State, you guys are idiots. So this is kind of where I fall with the knee pulling, right? We were talking about yesterday how pulling the knee certain directions. It's like there's no way that you can quantify all the different ways you could pull the knee, which could possibly hurt it, to make it illegal. Same thing with the assassin. Like, the assassin is essentially a lock around the head and the arm, okay? There's many ways. I can lock a headlock. I can lock a headlock. I can lock the way Marinelli does it. There's many ways I can lock around the head and the arm. if I know how to do it right in any of those, I can choke people. I absolutely can, okay? So don't make one way illegal because certain people are getting it tighter than other people. If you're allowed to lock around the head and the arm, you're allowed to lock around the head and the arm. Don't make the assassin illegal. That's dumb.
I had no idea that happened. I had no idea that the assassin was regarded as in any way a controversial move.
I did not either.
I didn't either. I think this is probably your fault because you basically brought it to New York with.
It's a good move.
You taught it to Ben Darmstadt, and now who knows what little extra twist he's putting on it. Now all these New Yorkers are using it incorrectly. Yeah, they're just choking dudes out, and then they flip over a lot easier.
The ref just needs to call the pin.
Yeah, just get
it over with.
Call the fall.
High school wrestling is crazy. You have all these different rules from state to state.
Is the Blair ride illegal now?
I don't know.
That seems to be out there.
Yeah, in Illinois.
Really? Why? Why is it illegal?
I don't. There's something about the pressure on the shoulder or the arm or the way it's done. I mean, I don't know.
And the problem is a lot of these people making these rules, like they don't really understand what's happening, and they kind of think they may do, or maybe if this crazy thing happened, this could happen, but it's just not all that realistic, and you make rules based on it.
Yeah, it's not good. Someone asked if Buziello would be a better option by the end of the season than Verclearen or Gardner. No way. Buziello's going to need some time. He had a really rough Edinburgh Open. He's not ready for he's probably third on that depth chart at best. Yeah. Okay. If Ohio State has 3 champs and 2 or more guys AA, Romero, Jordan, or Smith, could they finish second at NCAAs? They are currently, right now, only 3 points back from Penn State. So
yeah, it's possible.
Absolutely they could. I think it's
absolutely agreed.
Did Mark Hall just get carvered, or would you consider the Kimmer the favorite at 174? You think he got carvered, right?
I think he got carvered.
Man. Yeah. Have you ever did you ever experience anything like that where you were like the atmosphere or something about it is impacting my my performance?
This is gonna be a funny answer because it wasn't pressure based, but when I wrestled in a few of those pro matches, I was also running the tournament and I was doing a whole bunch of other things. I was running the event, and so I literally wore myself out because I was just doing too much shit. And so when I then take time to step on the mat, I'm like, oh, I'm freaking exhausted. I've been running this tournament. I've been running this event. I've been making sure these guys get to the hotel. I've been doing all this stuff, and that was So anytime mental, and people allow the mental pressure to get to them, that's what I saw in Mark Hall. And listen, is it going to be really competitive at Nationals and Big Tens? Yes, but I think Mark Hall is going to win both those matches in highly competitive bouts.
Totally. Okay. Looking, we got some more questions here. Someone asking about Flow merch.
When's that going to drip? What do you guys think?
Do I think he got carvered?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I just think basically if a performance is so out of line with what you have seen throughout a person's entire career, I think you have to attribute it to something different, right? I just don't think it's just a super down match. I mean, a down match for Mark Hall doesn't look like that, right?
Yeah.
So I do think it was something like that, but I also do think there's way more to the Kimmer Hall dynamic than I ever expected coming into that match. I thought it was a nightmare matchup for Mark Hall or for Kimmer, and I don't feel that way anymore. Even if he did get carvered, I still feel like it's way more of a match than I expected.
Bracky, same or what?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a combination of two things. Maybe the gap's not as far, or it's much closer than we thought it was, but it just, I don't know. At the end of the match, it didn't look like Mark Hall. You know what I mean? He looked tired. He looked gassed. He doesn't usually look like that. Looks different. It looks different, right?
Hey, yes. the other thing, and this might bring up a big philosophical discussion.
Love it.
The other thing, I feel like Mark Hall might just be burnt out.
Oh.
I mean, this is a guy we've seen compete less and less as he's gotten older. And being older meaning he is a senior in high school. It's not like he's 30 years old like Jordan Burroughs, right? And so it's like we've also seen this guy This guy wrestled in effing 7 high school state championships. He wrestled 1 in Kentucky and then 6 in Minnesota. This guy was everywhere every weekend, all the way through high school. And, it feels like he's just over it. Like he does, and there's not really a lot of talk about him competing past college, which if you would have asked that question 4 years ago, everyone would have said he's probably going to be a world team member by now. He hasn't, I don't think I'm wrong, but I don't think he's competed. Well, he competed at the World Team Trials one time, right? But he hasn't competed a whole lot besides that.
In freestyle, no. I mean, he took last. I don't think he wrestled last year freestyle. And I think
last year was the year he was at the trials. 2 years ago, he didn't wrestle at all.
Did he go 86 at the trials?
No,
yeah,
79.
that's right.
79.
Oh yeah, and Zahid beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, there could be something to that. There could be just something to this guy wanted to be an Olympic champion, and he is just screwed by how big he is. And I wonder if that is in his head at all. It's like, I don't know if Mark Hall. I mean, he said when he made 74 the last time, he was never going to make it again. And I don't think he'll ever be a full-size 86.
Think about how small David Taylor was when he came out of college, and now he's kind of a big 86, right? Additionally, the freestyle weight classes change all the time, so I don't think that's it. I mean, I feel like just if I kind of look back on myself as I got older, I desired to compete less than when I was a kid. And I wasn't pushed less, as much when I was a kid. Especially not to the level Mark Hall was, And I ramped up as high school got over, and then I kept ramping up as college went on. And it's like, if we've seen a kid who's been competing at the highest levels for a long time, it's Mark. Who else has competed in 7 high school state championships? I think the answer is nobody, right?
I've never heard of such a thing.
He wrestled 1 year in Kentucky and then 6 years in Minnesota. I mean, The other ones that you could point out that were kind of on this same track were the Manville brothers, and obviously that's not turning out all that great either. And so I really do think mentally, when I look at Sem's schedule and I look at Blair's schedule, it's like, man, and I know the answer is maybe I'm wrong on this, but is that healthy for high school kids to be traveling that much and competing that much at a high level? And I don't know that the answer to that is yes or no. It's just something I consider. And obviously, all kids are going to take competition differently. But, again, Mark Hall is the guy who was everywhere.
Yeah. I think there's probably something to it. There's definitely there's an undeniable component of if you just compete so much there does come a point in time where it's can be adverse, and whether that's
making weight all the time and being a lot of these kids, this is the sad part, they start tying their value to their competition results, right? Their value as a person. Like, people will only think I'm great if I really win, and that's where it gets really, really dangerous in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know Mark Hall whatsoever, so I'm just kind of speaking more broadly, but obviously Mark Hall is someone we've watched. I mean, you guys did the Flow film on him how many years ago? We've been following this guy forever.
Before I even worked at Flow.
The Prodigy.
The Prodigy. It was like 2012 or early 2013. Yeah, no, good point. Okay, Ben, is it a detriment if Spencer doesn't go 7 minutes until NCAAs? Or is his high-level training enough it doesn't matter? Would you prefer he got tested beforehand?
I said 2 years ago I didn't think he was going to go 7 minutes the whole year. So, no, I don't see it as an issue.
Okay, no issue, no problem. Why are high school duels moving to a thing of the past? Many schools are scheduling more tries and quads. Thoughts? I think this one's actually easy. Because you schedule a duel, you're this day and age, the weight class, how few lineups are full, it's just not enough matches. You got guys going, half your team's not going to get a match. Teams bump around for forfeits and all kinds of craziness. I think they're having tries and quads just so their guys are actually, when they go to a competition, they get to compete, because it's harder and harder to fill. That's just something I'm saying. I can't statistically back that up, but I believe it's harder and harder to fill a lineup. I think there's way too many high school weight classes. I think you could start at 103 or 106 and end at heavyweight and just have 10 weights. And I think it would be way better off. I think there's too many weight classes.
Yeah, I mean, at least the duels I see around the Southeast Milwaukee area, A lot of them are full. I think there's a healthy dual schedule in the few conferences. Are there teams that don't fill up? Yeah. And I actually would be in favor of, especially smaller schools, being able to go to a 10 or 11 weight class format. I think that would be really healthy, and then expand back to 14 for the state tournaments. I don't agree with you guys as there are too many weight classes. In the area that I'm in, most of the best teams filled their lineup. Not all, but most. And I just don't see as condensing the weight class as a problem. I think if you want to do it during the dual season for small schools, I think that's cool.
Yeah, maybe, and that's my background is small schools. And the time I coached, maybe 2 of the years we had full lineups, and that was if everything fell right and we had to move a small guy up and do some crazy stuff to make it happen to say you technically have a full lineup. But it was really tough, and Buffalo Gap was not an exception. There were teams in worse positions, right? And even right now, I think it's really tough. So I think the smaller schools is just a lot harder, and I would like to see reduced weight classes.
Yeah, and the other comment there would be, I think, and this is kind of it wasn't actually, I got interviewed by this other guy. What's his damn wrestling changed my life. He interviewed me yesterday.
Yeah, Ryan
Warner. And he asked me if I was a college coach, what would my schedule look like? And I said, I don't really necessarily love the way college coaches, it seems like they're going to like a 25 to 30 match schedule. And I feel like that's just a little too few. And I feel like I would like to have some guys compete more. I don't know. I haven't ran a college team. So I'd have to feel it out. Maybe that is right. Maybe it's wrong. But I think high school coaches kind of across the board feel like more is better. And there's been this push to get more and more and more matches. And so that's probably another reason why guys are going to tries and quads, because they want to minimize the times because there's a maximum amount of weigh-ins. So minimize the amount of weigh-ins that only have one match to go along with it.
Yeah. I always felt like the high school schedule is like, man, I just want like 2 weeks where we can just train and not have to go somewhere Wednesday night and Saturday and just like, let's just be here and get better. So I think there's something to that. But to your point, you want some more matches at the college level if that's kind of your impulse. But I feel like Penn State's they're the team. Whether they're going to win this year or not doesn't matter. Like, they've kind of set the bar for process, I think.
But just because I mean, right, there's a whole bunch of different components in their process, and we don't know exactly what it is because Kale doesn't talk about it. So one of their components is not very many matches, and so we don't know if that is the one factor that's allowing them to get that much better.
Well, I mean, it's probably 1,000 different decisions that have got them to this point, but it's just one of them, right? And
yeah, it's definitely one. I mean, the argument for me so I view competition in and of itself as a skill, and I think the argument you'd make at the high school level is, hey, these guys haven't competed that much. They need to practice competing to get better at that skill of competing. Whereas at the college level, and specifically Penn State, I mean, they've gotten the blue chip of the blue chip, so hopefully those guys understand how to compete by the time they get there, and they don't need to do it a whole bunch of times in order to compete at the highest levels.
Right.
So.
Was Zahid doing Street Beefs before Street Beefs was cool? Do you remember Street Beefs, Ben? We talked about him a lot on FRL. We watched him a lot here at Flow.
Is it like bum fights? Because I kind of remember bum fights.
So Street Beefs is a Virginia YouTube Street Beefs, guys, backyard fighting thing where these people have arguments or not arguments, and they just have these terrible backyard MMA matches, basically bare knuckle, where they just fight and wrestle in this dirt floor or dirt ground, right? So we used to talk about him a lot. So, and you said that Zahid did one at age 12.
He alleges. I cannot prove this.
You can't prove it, but we can take Zahid at his word. So I think the answer is yes. He was before Street Beefs, because at age 12, that was almost like probably 10 years ago. Street Beefs were not founded by 2010. So therefore,
one of Christian's wrestlers was in Street Beefs.
Check him out.
Oh, no, come on.
Yeah, baby, Mongoose. I swear.
Is that Mongoose is his nickname, or are you from such a redneck part of Virginia that they actually name people Mongoose?
Listen to this. His name, my dad, He was okay. He was pretty good. Not my dad. This wrestler. My dad didn't wrestle.
Your dad was good at street beefs?
He probably was. Would have been. He's kind of old. He's like 70-something. But he gave this kid the nickname the Mongoose after he won districts. So he like pounced on him. He's like, "You were like a mongoose." And then I had no idea he ever took to that nickname. We never called him Mongoose at any point. Then he's up on Street Beefs. Nick, his fight name is Mongoose. I'm like, wow, how did this happen? This is great. The nickname stuck years later.
So Tracy Piles gave him that nickname?
Tracy Piles gave him the nickname Mongoose. He didn't break it out until his Street Beefs debut.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, so funny stories. I wish you were from Virginia, Ben. You could be helping my home state. Okay, it's 9:45 deep in the heart of Texas. So, do you have any parting thoughts, Ben?
No. Well, I'm excited for this Wisconsin-Penn State duel that we just talked about. I think it's gonna be a real good duel. I hope Wisconsin packs the crowd, and it's gonna be a bunch of fun matches.
Okay. Yep. Looking forward to that as well. Well, I won't be here tomorrow, Ben. I didn't tell you that,
what?
but yeah. It's kind of a bad back-to-back week stretch here, but I'm going to. Who's number one for grappling? Who's
the crew? Me, Bracky, and Nomad?
It may just be you two because everyone is going places.
Is everyone gone?
I think everyone's gone. I'll see if we can get a replacement, but I know you two could definitely hold it down and then some if it comes down to it. Maybe Bracky would have to sign off on this, but maybe Sion makes an appearance.
No,
who knows?
I'm cool with that.
Yes.
Look at Ben's eyes lit up so crazy. Yes, I don't know if we can have. Listen, I'm dead serious. He can't be on an hour and a half. Something crazy will happen. It can be up. It is Bobby Douglas. Appreciate it. So
we gotta have him on.
It does kind of tie. Yes. You gotta have him on. Thanks so much for listening. 455 strong, 456 coming at you tomorrow. We'll see you then. Have a great Wednesday. Thank you. Never seen Ben so excited.